changed them. That they understand that that stuff is a kind of product being sold. But every kid at the age of 15 or 16, they'll grab any opportunity, and I would never condemn any young person for that. And obviously there's been some great singers come up through these, the talent shows like that. And I think they probably would have risen to the top anyway. But it's, Graham alluded to it, but it's a little bit, it's tough for them, because I've met a few of those in the last few years, kids who have come in the top sort of 5 of these reality shows. And unfortunately that 15 minutes of fame that they have will be with them for the rest of their lives. And that can be a burden later on. But I would never condemn anyone for taking that chance. And also I would say we're particularly thankful for Simon Cowell, because a couple of times he has used nights, and the year before last in the UK there was a boy called Matt Cardle who won the I think X Factor or whatever it was, one of those. And the week before he won, he did a fantastic version of Nights in White Satin on Saturday night television, and live on the show, and it really was great. And everybody on the Sunday morning was scrambling trying to get this song, and of course he hadn't recorded it yet. And ours came back into the charts that week. Through the internet and stuff, people who didn't know about Nights, you could just Google it and find out, oh, there's that song, and who did it. And it was fantastic for us. It came back in the charts in the UK for the 4th time because of it. And Simon has done it a couple of times, so that's it.
Lesbian songs are quite powerful. If there's anything wrong. All right.
Hey, I can spot it, You put that dress on, baby.
I try not to get it too
wrinkled around this boy.
Alright, okay.
What on earth was that? Just
Graham, it looks like it's you and me.
You two gotta travel with them, not me. Do you think the Moody Blues would have made it in today's world of the internet and social media? The 4th members of the Moody Blues. Just give me a second here to... Alright, Graham, I'm going to throw it over to you now. This comes from Grant Bell, Woodbridge, Virginia. Grant, if you're on board. Which is your favorite song that was not a hit, or perhaps better put, which you were surprised was not a hit?
I'm not, you can't really say what a favourite is because each song brings something special to you. But maybe the song that I enjoyed and surprised me the most was one of Justin's called Fly Me High, which was very good guitar and a very well written song. And it wasn't that big a hit for us, but it was a big radio hit. But that sort of, that became a favourite of mine because it was one of the early ones that directed us on the path that we've ended up on. So I enjoy that one. Of course, any one of mine amazing.
In terms of recording down the road, that's changed a lot. It's gone back full circle in a way to what it was like in the 60s and 70s when people clamored for singles, and then eventually over to albums, but now it seems to be just about singles. Download one track here, one there, so on and so forth. What is the plans going forward in terms of recording? Will we ever see another Moody studio album? Do you just perhaps maybe want to do some singles? Obviously, the body of work stands for itself, and when you have thousands of people who continue to see you night after night, perhaps new music is not at the top of their list, but some would like to see or hear?
Absolutely.
Well, I think we should have had a new album just for this cruise, guys. Perhaps next time.
Well, one of the questions was from Kenny Keene of Ocala, Florida. He was, a lot of artists have done unplugged CDs, acoustic. Any thoughts ever taking some of your songs, stripping them down, doing something like that?
I don't know. For me, when you go in the studio and you record a song, you record it exactly how you want it to be at that time. And as I say earlier, to revisit it and do it again a different way, it never has the same emotional impact, because when you write a song, in the old days we used to just sit around a little table and we used to play each other songs. And you are really standing there naked, you know. You not in a physical sense. Remember, we have a lesbian on board. We sit around a table, and you know, it's something you bring from the heart, you know, and you've got to believe that the rest of the guys are going to love the song and do everything and to it that they can to deliver this song in the way that you want it to be. And you know that they're going to do that anyway. But so that's where the first emotion comes from, playing that song. The second emotion is when you record it, and the third one, of course, is when you play it back. And the fourth one is when you get on stage and play it to everyone. And so to do it all again, the same song, it's all, you know, it's pretty, for me, it's pretty difficult to do that, because you're missing the first emotion. You know, it's very difficult.
Over time, have songs taken on different meanings for the two, you know, main songwriters here? You know, nights not included.
Nights is such a lovely song to do, you know, so it makes people happy. You can go anywhere in the world and do Nights, and that's a wonderful thing to be able to share. Anywhere, even if they don't know really blues, so that's wonderful. I mean, I quite like the acoustic thing, so you hear it as the guy wrote the song, and I quite like that stuff too. And you know, there are different ways of doing songs. But what was your question? Did you have a question?
If over time,
New Jersey had a question.
If over time, have your songs taken on a different meaning for you?
I think they have. If they've registered at different sort of events in your life, or somebody has you know, has pointed that out about something in their lives, so that they gather that, they kind of snowball down their own road. You know, they certainly, they're a world of imagination, and songs are like having. For me, songwriting is. I mean, I only live in a small flat, so I don't have a big house or anything like that. But they're like having a sort of separate room in your house that only you can enter. It is a world of imagination. Sometimes difficult for other people to live with, really, but it's also it's a great. I won't say gift, because you have to have a desire to write, to play, but it is a wonderful thing to have that dimension in your life.
When do you know that you're ready to share a song with the world? Because I would imagine a fair majority of them are autobiographical. When do you know that, you know what, I'm going to now share some of my innermost feelings and let it out there to the world, and never to take it back, obviously?
Well, sometimes you don't even find out what it's about until a few years later, when you look back on your life and you think, oh, it has some relevance to something that was happening at the time. There's not a. I wish I could say there was a sort of master plan for everything that we put in place in our career, but for me and the Moody's, it's been a wonderful series of accidents that we've stumbled across, and events. I mean, somebody made the phone call for us a few months ago for this, and we all put our hands up and said, yeah, that would be wonderful.
We always say we always seem to make the right move for all the wrong reasons.
Well, it's been working out so far. Speaking of future plans going forward this year, there's a couple things on the horizon. There's a new box set, Timeless Flight, June 3rd, I believe, John is when you told me it'll be out.
Yeah, it's going to be a really big box set. I think there's about 17 CDs in it. And it includes a lot of unreleased sort of live concerts over the years. And I've listened to a lot of these concerts, and I think you're going to really enjoy them. We listen to them because, you know, things change over the years, and the book is a lovely book inside, lots of photographs, everything I hope that everyone will really love to have, and cherish, you know, hope so.
Graham, what's that process like when putting together these types of, career-spanning retrospectives? Does each member get a CD or video to view on their own, or do you all get together and kind of have a vote?
Well, no, mostly we send Justin into the studio and listen to him, and especially, no, I'm serious, Just loves working in the studio, does a great job. And I'm a drummer, I've got 10 years, so, you know, half the time in the studio going, what? Those cymbals create havoc on your eardrums.
And in terms of, a lot of our, just had the estate of Jimi Hendrix just released some recordings of his that had never seen the light of day. And it always amazes me that, this is a guy that had a shelf life of 3, maybe 4 years. The amount of studio work he did and the amount of stuff that his estate keeps putting out there. For the Moody's, is there a lot of stuff in the vaults, or when it was it was just, taped on, wipe it clean and move on?
I'm always surprised if Universal or Decca come up with something, because I thought I was the only one with that stuff, and I kept very quiet a few years ago when they were putting out some stuff, and they were asking me for unreleased stuff. I wasn't fibbing, I was just staying silent. And I knew I had some, but it wasn't finished. There's a difference between unreleased and unfinished. But they found that stuff. If there's anything else there now, it's a surprise to me. We certainly didn't finish things that we didn't intend to go on an album. And we often didn't even start things that we didn't intend to go on an album. Very rarely would we do it in an album. I can't remember ever doing it.
Are there some unfinished pieces that perhaps you would like to revisit? I'm not asking for song titles or anything like that, but do you have anything there that I think I could do something with it?
Nothing comes to mind. I'm so sorry. but you have to think, would I tell you? Would I?
Or be surprised? As
I don't know. Like I say, I'm constantly being surprised. So I thought I had it all. I thought recordings. I thought I had every outtake and stuff like that.
Are you the band archivist in a way?
No, not really. It's just like Graham says. I pay attention to that stuff, and there's a lot of it mixes of live concerts on this box set. A lot of it, most of it seems to be live concerts. And my heart sank when they put all of these concerts to me and proposed them. And I thought, oh God, because I can remember some of that concert. But then when I listened back in a proper studio mode, some of them were mixed by people who really, really were into Moody's and did it very, very well. I mean, there's that thing on the TV here, isn't there, that's from the Montreux Jazz Festival. I watched a bit of that last night. And I mean, that sounds great to me. We had nothing to do with that at all. It was just, what's his name, Michael's producer, did that. Jackson's producer,
Quincy Jones?
Quincy. It was
Yeah.
Quincy who put all that stuff together.
Yeah.
And it was absolutely great. Yeah, so, and there's a lot of things like that on this box set, which comes out later in the year. Yeah. It's expensive.
Yes, fourth Moody's will be the judge of that.
Yes, that's right.
But that is Timeless Flight, and will be out June 3rd, so look for that. And you guys got a couple other things going on. Of course, Graham, you just published your book last fall, and the written works of Graham Edge. What was that experience like for you?
It was very interesting revisiting all the old stuff, and it was quite fun. I liked writing the little anecdotes. It brought it all back, gave it a freshness. Of course, I'm terrified because on Friday I've got to talk for an hour about it. And of course I'll be fine with that. 10 minutes after it's over, I'll be halfway down a bottle of red wine.
Thanks for the segue. John, you're doing a wine tasting on Friday for your wine Casema named after your 2 children. A lot of artists are into wine, beverages. Mick Fleetwood, Jimmy Buffett's got a line of beer, you know, a couple others out there. What is it about it that you enjoy, besides the drinking?
Drinking. No, it's the whole mystique about, for me, great wine, you know, if it's made, it's all made naturally and unfiltered, and it's just a great experience to go into. One of the things is the beautiful countryside where you can go to these vineyards, and even if you don't drink wine, you should just drive to the big valleys, Sonoma County. It's just beautiful places. And if you go through France, through Burgundy or Bordeaux, it's just, you know, wonderful. South Africa, Australia, Marlborough, and New Zealand. They're just beautiful countries. But I really got into wine when I was 15 at school. And there was a Chinese restaurant that just opened. And we didn't have Chinese restaurants in Birmingham in those days where I was born. And we went there, and the waiter said, would you like a wine? We wore our school uniforms. And I think we all got a week's detention afterwards. But I ordered what was the most beautiful wine in the world, and I think we all must have tasted. It's called Blue Nun. And it should have been called the Flying Nun. But then I did have a love affair after that. I went to Burgundy, and I became a, not through because I know anything about wine, I don't. I think it's because they wanted Moody Blues on their roster, but I became a Chevalier de Tastarin in the show. And then I met some people in Beringer and Hitchcock in the Napa Valley, and we talked for a long while about making a special wine, a blended wine, which would compete at, you know, really high standard of wine. And I think they made a beautiful, the guy called Les Perrins. He was a restaurateur and he just loved making wine. And I think he made a great wine. And I hope you're all going to enjoy it.
Good luck with that.
And I named it after my 2 children, Christian and Emily, and it's called Christopher.
And Justin, last but not least, in the extracurricular activity world, congratulations, you just released a new solo album, Spirits of the Western Sky.
From the heart.
Just before flying down here, I wrote a story that's sent out to my affiliates that you're doing a little brief solo tour in August. So congratulations.
Looks like it, yeah.
Talk about the album for a second. The first one in about 17 years, if I'm not mistaken.
Well, I've been doing a lot of other things.
You have.
So making a couple of Moody Blues albums and just working in the studio generally when I'm not on the road. So, and doing other things in life. And I just collected so many songs over those years, and I started recording them at a little studio near me. I started recording the voice first in my own guitars and keyboards, and so that I would capture that particular kind of essence of the beginning of the song right away. And then only really when I was doing some mastering and another mixing project for the movies at the studio, that I thought really you should collect this stuff properly and record it properly, professionally. So I started that about 2 or 3 years ago. And then it became a complete labour of love, and it became my whole life, really. And I'm absolutely thrilled with this album. I think it really does speak. It speaks to me as well, so that's nice. Not just everybody else. It speaks to me. It speaks up here to me.
That's Spirit to the Western Sky. For those of you from the U.S., Eagle Rock put that out, and Justin is slated to do, it's mostly East Coast dates for now, first 3 weeks of August, I believe.
I believe so. I mean, there's a couple that they put in and that they confirmed, but it's still, there's still tap dancing around that. I think it'll be quite a different show. I want to do something different than normally do, so I'm looking forward to it very much.
And you'll obviously put together a different lineup to go out with behind you. Would that be a little bit nerve-wracking? Because, I mean, to have these guys in the driver's seat behind you has got to be so comfortable.
Yeah. Yes and yes to those things. Yes, that's true. Yeah. I'm privileged to fly in, in one of the greatest bands I've ever seen. So, I think going back to your question, I think you alluded to it before, really, and I don't want to sound rude in this, but I know we're a good band. Whether you like it or not, that's subjective, isn't it? So I don't really care about that. As long as we're doing what we think is right, and we were lucky enough in the early days to have a record company and a chairman of a record company who, after our first record, he was a lovely man called Sir Edward Lewis, after Days of Future Past took the whole of the Decca record company by surprise with Nights and Tuesday and all those things from it. He came to see us, or he asked us to come and see him in his Eyrie, which was on the top floor of this beautiful building overlooking the Thames. And he just said, I don't know what you boys are doing, but people love it. Just carry on. And so we did for the next 7 records. And so I've learned from that I have to do what's in my heart and what feels right at the time. And that's the same with Spirit, so it is with the movies. And so I promise you, it's from the heart. It's with no compromise about any kind of A&R.
John, this question comes from Bob Sheehan from Denver, Colorado. He wants to know, can you ever step back and explain what it is about the Moodies and their music that has lived on for these 45 plus years? Can you ever remove yourself from the picture and explain that to somebody else as to why it is that it continues to live on, inspire people, entertain people, bring smiles to people's faces?
The question is a lot longer than the answer. And the answer is no. The only thing that I know is that we got together to make our own music, and as I said before, we used to sit around us at the table and we explored everything we could think about via music and lyric. And by being truthful to that, I think everyone can respect that and can identify with it and become part of us as well. Because what we're writing about is who we are, and really we've all got those same experiences. We may be in different countries, maybe in different time zones, maybe in different ages, but we do have all the same hopes and dreams. And I think that's how we relate, and that's why I think the Big Blues, that's where we're at.
Hey Graham, I wanted to come back to you a second regarding the writing of the book. a lot of artists now are at that stage where they're starting to pen their memoirs. Pete Townsend was a big one this recent year. Keith Richards, Ozzy Osbourne, the list goes on. Steven Tyler. When you were writing, I know you were asked if you would write a memoir. Is that something that you would consider down the road?
Oh, I would say probably not. I've read a few of those other guys, and they just seem to be so self-indulgent. Jimmy Buffett's one. I mean, it's just so self-indulgent, and you know, I had a lot of fun, but you all had a lot of fun. I know they say there's a good book in each of us, but I can't believe my life is interested enough to put a whole book together. But maybe I'll do a cartoon soon. Makes a lot more sense.
And Justin, for you, is that something you would ever consider writing your autobiography, or for you is it really the songs and performing?
You know, the answer to that is I don't know. I don't know. And there are so many great stories and great tales around this. I think you'd have to do, you'd have to tell the truth. It wouldn't be a spin by a sort of publicity person. I think the closest I got was a dear friend of ours called Ray Coleman, who was editor of the Memoirs. And he got really close to getting us to agree to do it. And then his life changed and he passed away, and that was sad. But he did know the early years. And also, when you're in a group, it's you each have a different perspective and a different view and remembering of the same kind of incident. And that's so you're only talking for yourself, really. You're not you're revealing what you were thinking at the time. So the answer, truthfully, I don't know. I don't rule that out, and I don't rule it in. But all I want to do really at the moment is to keep writing and keep going in the studio. Whatever.
And
Possible.
You never know. Down the road, maybe when you have some quiet time, but it certainly doesn't seem like you have any.
Okay. No, I don't.
No, we could write it together. I'll put my dress on.
You know the story.
I know the story.
We've been friends a long time. Yes, that's nice.
John, would you ever? You're so busy with wine and your charitable efforts, and of course touring and performing.
I just enjoy playing. I just really enjoy getting on stage. I think it's really difficult because, you know, everyone's got a different perspective of what was the truth and what isn't the truth. I've no idea anymore. It's even like if you go to, when you first hear a song, you know, come from Birmingham, England. I remember Fats Cummings singing about Whippoorwill Call. And coming from Birmingham, I had no idea what that was. So it conjured up a whole different truth to what it was. And I think if you wrote a book, or if I wrote a book, I would have no idea really what was the truth, because it depends where you stand, what perspective you take, and I think it's much nicer if everyone out there makes up their own stories. It's all there, you know, just look for it, and it's like a great big, the Moody Blues is like a great big treasure hunt for me. Just go look in, and hopefully you dig up little bits of treasure for yourself.
We wind this down. There'll be a UK European tour in June, and then I've just been told that we in the States can expect to see another run through in September. Do we know where? Okay, is that going to be a, this time I know you came across Texas, the Panhandle down Florida, where will you be going out?
What I've seen so far, it starts in the Midwest and goes out to the West. Hooray!
It certainly, you know, it certainly speaks volumes. I mean, you've told me so many times that the phone just literally never stops ringing, and you're not a band that just goes to the largest cities. You seem to get in the second and third tertiary markets in as well, which I know your fans certainly appreciate.
You know, that goes right back to our first tours of America. The first tour of America, part of it was we opened up for a group called Canned Heat, and they were very nice to us, and they took us through, instead of doing the major cities, that they really went through the neighborhoods of America and right up into Canada. And I think it was on those first couple of tours that the audience was really established in movies. And looking back, I think we owe them a lot, really. Not that they had much to do with asking us there, but they were great to us. They certainly, we had a ride on their bus, which was a great adventure for a few weeks. It took us through all of these parts of America that people wouldn't normally think of going.
And that dovetails nicely with this, one of our last questions here. This comes from Kathleen in San Juan, Texas. She says, Justin, you once said in an interview that when the band first started touring America, that you asked your manager who was at the top of the bill, and you were told that it was the Moody Blues. Do you remember, and that you were actually quite surprised by this, do you remember where that was?
I'm so sorry, no, I don't remember. I can remember the dressing rooms and the promoter's office. I don't remember that well. I remember it happening, and in truth, we used to like being first on, because in those days there was never just one act on the bill. There'd be 4 or 5 groups on these bills in big stadiums, you know. And the show would start at sort of 6:30, so go right through until 11. And we were used to being on early, because we weren't a big draw. We could fill the psychedelic clubs and stuff like that. And radio loved us, you know, FM radio loved us. But I went with our road manager, Pete Jackson, the English guy that was with us at the beginning, and Morrison, to the promoter's office. Hooray, hooray for them! To see what time we were going to be on. And we got into the promoter's office, and there was me hoping I could be back in the Holiday Inn, you know, sharing a room with John by 8:45. And I asked what time we were on, and he said, you're on top of the bill, you guys. It's a Moody Blues crowd. And that really surprised me. Not only did it surprise me, it surprised and shocked Van. And poor old Van wasn't very pleased about that. So we just got the time, and me and Pete, you know, discreetly exited. Just, okay. But I remember him clearly saying that it's a Moody Blues crowd. Changed my life.
It's pretty safe to say that we've got a Moody Blues crowd here. These 3 gentlemen and their terrific backing band will be on stage tonight at 6:30 in the theater. That's for the dining B, as in boy, dining B, I've been told. So 6:30 tonight, the Moody Blues. And guys, thank you very much for sitting here in the sun making to do this. Justin Hayward, John Lodge, Graham Edge, the Moody Blues. Thank you, everybody.
Oh, thank you.
Thanks, everybody. Enjoy the rest of the day, and we'll see you soon.
Woo!